Tonight, we're following the money in Madison.
Governor Scott Walker has laid out what he wants to see happen in the state's next two-year budget.
Our plan is based on growth and opportunity, which leads to freedom and prosperity for all.
If the legislature agrees, what Walker's plans could mean for taxpayers. Topping tonight's Fox 11 News at 9. Good evening, everyone. In the state capitol tonight, the governor outlining his $68 billion two-year budget this evening.
It calls for all sorts of cuts, both large and small, to help plug a shortfall of up to $2 billion. Now, Fox 11 has several crews in Madison tonight. We begin with Andrew Lacombe, who has the details of the governor's speech. Andrew?
Michelle, the governor's plan includes his promise of property tax rate cuts. For a median-sized home, property tax bills would go down by $5 this year and $5 next year. That's under Governor Walker's plan. Now, he also wants to keep funding for public schools essentially flat over the next 2 years, and that wasn't Governor Walker's only comment regarding Wisconsin schools. A number of education proposals highlighted Governor Walker's budget address. First, the governor addressed his plans for the UW system.
I asked the legislature to give our bold reform idea a serious look.
The governor wants to cut $300 million of the UW system's funding, about 13% of its current state aid. Walker plans to give the system more freedom from state oversight, a change university leaders have wanted for years.
Now, recently, some have raised concerns about this proposed reform. These are some of the same claims we heard 4 years ago when Act 10 reforms were first enacted.
Following the speech, the president of the UW system, Ray Cross, said in a statement, the proposal to increase autonomy and significantly reduce state support would change the way the UW system looks and operates.
We also include
Governor Walker also plans to lift the enrollment cap on the statewide voucher program this summer. The cap is currently at 1,000 students. But going forward, the program would only be open to students transferring from a public school to a private school. Money to pay for the voucher would come out of state aid given to the public school that the student is leaving.
Every child deserves the chance to succeed.
And the governor described why he wants to require drug tests for some childless adults receiving state aid.
This will bring security to both taxpayers and more importantly, to those who ultimately are able to take charge of their lives.
The governor says people who fail the drug test will be able to participate in a free drug treatment program. The governor's budget plan also calls for about 400 state government positions to be eliminated. Those cuts would come across many departments, the governor says, including the DNR and the Department of Corrections. Live in Madison, Andrew Lacombe, Fox 11 News.
Some other key points from the governor's proposal tonight. We have the straight story on what else the state legislature will now be the ones to consider. Other education measures included school accountability, the governor proposing that all schools, public or private, receiving public money be graded on their performance. However, he did not call for sanctions against those schools that receive poor evaluations. As for roads, taxes and fees would not be increased under the governor's proposal. Instead, though, the state would borrow $1.3 billion to pay for ongoing projects. And Walker also outlined a $220 million plan to help support a new arena for the Milwaukee Bucks to try to keep the team in the state. The proposals, of course, need the approval from the state legislature. So what are the legislators' reaction? Fox 11's Alex Ronaldo also on Capitol Square Live tonight. And Alex, what have you been told?
Now, both Democrats and Republicans tell me they're going to have to dig much deeper into the governor's full budget proposal. You know, tonight's speech was a little short on details of what is really going to be in that full proposal. Now, however, there is some criticism coming from both sides of the aisle. That includes some concern over the governor's plan to cut $300 million from the UW system. They say that cut is too deep and could lead to higher tuition in the future. And lawmakers we spoke to also say they worry the governor wants to borrow too much money for transportation and infrastructure. But overall, Republicans had a much more positive outlook on the speech than Democrats. Tonight, we have both sides.
Seeing that our property taxes are going to stay the same or be lower, for 6 years in a row is, I think, a significant accomplishment. I really like the investments in worker training, particularly apprenticeships, which I've been very involved in legislatively, as well as investing in our veterans and getting them jobs and small business opportunities.
The reality is we're in a dire budget situation due to past decisions that have been anything but growth and opportunity. We've got a $2.2 billion shortfall. We're going to borrow for roads. We're going to expand school choice. I heard a lot of different things that I'm concerned about, but we're really going to have to wait and see what the details are.
Now, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle say the final budget will probably look quite different than what the governor is proposing. Reporting live in Madison, Alex Rinaldo, Fox 11 News.